Hello Reformers, and welcome back to Warsword Conquest and Slythe and his quest to, well, could be find cheese, but it could also be conquering everything and eating people's faces and, you know, turning everyone into wonderful, wonderful helpers. You know, helpers. Anyway, as you can see right here, we're up against a Kislev vassal. I think this is one of the first times that we are actually fighting the Kislev. I think we have fought them maybe once before. I think we fought them with Percy, actually. I think we actually did fight them with him, but otherwise not much contact has been made. Now, this fellow right here, he was spotted right outside our main base, and oh dear. Apparently they have ice maidens. Allied ranged accuracy and reload speed is hexed. Oh, that is really bad. That is really, really bad for us. Okay, this is gonna be one of those times when I think I'm gonna have to play extremely well. Let's face it. Let's face it, I mean, you know, generally I play like world class, absolutely world class. No sarcasm there detected whatsoever, right? Yeah. Anyway, point is, hopefully we will be able to maximize the distance between us and them, because I'm hoping that maybe the Ice Maidens will cast their spell and then it will miss, or it will fail, or whatever, and hopefully from there we will be able to do a pretty decent job of eliminating the enemy. You can see here already that obviously now that the little visual effect has dissipated, I can only hope that that has, you know, removed the effect itself, and I'm just waiting for Winds of Magic to you know, come up a little bit. Oh yeah, by the way, I did increase our battle size, so if you do see a little bit of stuttering here and there, it could be because of the amount of effects on the screen at once, or it could just be because of the increased battle size. You can see here that we have 93 and 84 on the battlefield respectively, and I believe before I increased the battle size I had about 65, I think 65 or somewhere around there on each side. So you can kind of see the big increase there. It's an increase of about 30 on each side, which is pretty good, I feel. I think that's a pretty decent, you know, pretty decent increase, and we're going to definitely be seeing that in larger battles as well. But I am getting that I'm getting that little bit of stuttering, which is kind of annoying, but hopefully you can't see it, because I think it will only affect things if this was a 60 FPS video. If this was a 60 FPS video, then I think you'd definitely see that. Oh, look at this! There's a bit of a sneak. There's a bit of a sneaky attack going on over here to the right. We will not. Wait a minute. Is that mine? Those are my units. Okay, I have no idea why they are over there, but I guess. You know, I guess they've reached the end of the map. Yes, they have reached the end of the map. This is kind of amusing. Not entirely sure what's going on here, to be honest. I would think that, in general, it is literally just because the AI is being a bit weird. Not entirely sure why they're doing this, to be honest. I'm going to summon some people with Vermintide here, and, well, you know what? I guess, you know what? Let's just charge in. Let's just charge straight on in here and see what we can do. And I do have Madness as well. I do have Curse of the Horned One, so I will be able to use that. I would like to be able to use it right away. I'm going to boost my next... Yes, there we go. Okay, I think I might have a shot at this. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Okay, so we transformed. I don't even know how many. I think quite a few. About 7? About 6? About 6 of the enemy. And yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take our infantry back now. Hopefully the small little attack that we've done here has now caused the enemy to charge in, because that's exactly what I wanted. I want them to charge in against us. You know, I don't want them to just stand there and take damage over and over again from our... Whoa, okay. What are those? Oh my, I had no idea. I had no idea that those were those things that the Ice Maidens were summoning. Frost Bears. Well, they were eaten very, very quickly by the Rat Ogre, and it's nice to know that Bjorg has some friends, or relatives, maybe distant relatives, but yes, it looks like They are a recolored Bjorg, and well, that tells me everything I need to know. It tells me that they are extremely difficult to deal with, maybe a little bit less powerful than Bjorg himself, but well, we can only hope. Let's cross our fingers on that, because if we were facing something as powerful as Bjorg every single time, I think we would have some problems. Anyway, as you can see, that's a pretty decisive victory there, but we did lose quite a few units. Not entirely sure which ones. I did see an Eshin assassin and a couple of those guys get eliminated, which is not very good at all. I don't know whether... well, they're very difficult to level up, those guys. Even if you get them into battles constantly, I only have a very small amount of those guys in comparison to Warblock engineers. Oh, what? We actually didn't lose that many. Yeah, it was mainly my summoned units that were coming in here and taking the brunt of the damage, and that's exactly the reason why I feel like this magic school is fantastic. I don't know what the other magic school's like, because as I say, I haven't tried it out, but from what I can see so far, I'm very pleased with my choice. And yeah, there you go. There's only 7 remaining, so I'm just going to auto-resolve right that. And yes, okay, we did lose some people here, but I'll take it. I'll take it. It's not a problem. And oh, we actually captured one of these frost bears. You know, I'm very interested to see what kind of stats these guys have, but I'm not able to talk to the guy. I mean, I could try maybe to recruit him, but I don't think that's going to work, to be honest. I really don't think that's going to work. Now, I have said in the past how much of a fan I am of Bardishas, but unfortunately this is a polearm Bardiche, and personally I very much prefer the two-handed variant. I believe there is a two-handed variant of a Bardiche, and yeah, I have said in the past how much of a fan I am of that particular weapon, because it's just long enough to give you reach outside of most people's weapons attack, but it is, you know, it's kind of like short enough so that it's actually usable in comparison to, for example, this is almost as long as a lance, for goodness sake. It's just crazy the amount of reach that you can get here. I mean, look, this is lance, 190 weapon reach, this is 168, so you can kind of tell that it's pretty effective. Anyway, I'm actually just going to go in here. I originally intended to fight this guy as well, but this fellow, he's a bit of a coward. He's a bit of a coward. He got out of there very quickly indeed as soon as I came out of Karakhan to take a look around and see what's going on, and maybe I could, you know, get those two into a battle together. But yeah, it's kind of telling that he ran away very quickly indeed. Anyway, I'm going to sell everything that I can here. We're going to, of course, buy... Actually, wait a minute. Should I keep this? Maybe one of my people could use this, actually. Yeah, both of these things. Actually, the helmet as well could be useful. What about the cavalry bow and the arrows? What about the gauntlets? Okay, yes. Let me just take everything back. Let me just take everything back, and yeah, then we'll see what we can do. But yeah, what I wanted to do was buy healing potions. And I guess I could buy some potions of knowledge, but for me right now, I personally feel like potions of knowledge are not exactly worth it, because they only give you 1,000 experience, and while that is a pretty significant amount at this point in the game, when I'm level 27, it's not really great. It's not really great. Anyway, there you go. 27 intelligence for us right now, which means I will be able to level up my magic skill, and I will be able to level up my pathfinding as well. And we are in a very good position with his stats for the moment. I'm going to level up my two-handed weapon proficiency. I think I'm actually going to try and purchase a ball and chain weapon in this episode, and we will be able to see that in action, hopefully. Oh, I actually have 13 Eshin assassins. I actually thought that I had about 5. Well, that's very nice indeed anyway. Okay, so yes, Aketi. He's a pretty crazy unit, and I'm actually thinking I'm going to continue leveling up his leadership, because even though he does give us a little bit of trade and he has a huge amount of charisma as a result, we already do have a trader as far as I'm aware. Don't we? Do we not have a trader? I'm the trader. Yes, I have 3 in trading. That is kind of bad, isn't it? Well, I could technically keep him, but he is just so good when it comes to his leadership. He has a potential of 7 leadership, and it would be kind of cool to watch a Dark Elf vassal running around with Dark Elf units, you know, doing damage and, you know, letting their hand crossbow bolts fly through the air and so on. But you may notice in my army right now that someone is missing, and that someone is Volans. Volans, yes, he was made into a vassal. I actually made him into a vassal very, very recently, and I gave him the nearby fief of one of these ones. Yes, one of these ones, whichever one. I don't know. I get mixed up between them because they have relatively similar names. But anyway, point is, we now have some healing potions, and there is a vassal nearby that I would like to take out, if at all possible. And yeah, we should take a look here. I have -21 relation still. So yeah, I haven't been able to really do anything here. And I'm gonna try, because someone did actually confirm, or at least in their game, they did confirm that they are getting negative reputation from declining ransoms. And I am hopeful that we will be able to do the same thing, but as you saw in the previous episode, there is a bit of an issue with that. I don't exactly know what's going on with it, but whatever the case, I'm going to try my best to make that happen, because obviously gaining, or you know, losing reputation in this case is very, very important. And yeah, I'm going to continue to do my thing here with the Curse of the Horned One if I can. Obviously, we do want to be a bit careful. I really do not want to get killed again, because it is going to then increase our waiting times, and I really do want to go over and get that ball and chain weapon as soon as possible, because that is a weapon that will allow us to crush through blocks. It will allow us to outrange most enemies, and I'm going to see if I... Oh no, Winds of Magic 2, that's never going to cast it, is it? It's never going to cast it. We'll try and cast it. Oh, it actually worked. It actually worked. I am really surprised. Okay, well, there you go. That's pretty good. So, apparently the Winds of Magic does give you a reduced chance to cast the spell, maybe? But, yeah, for the moment I was getting pretty lucky there. And we were only transforming 2 enemies in comparison to the previous 6, 7, 8 that we had in previous battles. So maybe it, you know, it kind of scales dependent on how many enemy units are actually in range. Anyway, there's an Undivided Knight for us, a couple of Chaos Zealots and everything. No, there's actually a Warhorse there. That's pretty good. I think I'm going to keep that in my inventory just to improve our world map speed. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so let's have a look and actually see who can wear that armor. I think these guys can. Yeah, I think they can. What about Katja, actually? Because Katja has really been running around with some pretty awful stuff for quite some time, and it would be kind of good for us to give her some better gear. Yeah, look at this. This is really pretty good for her. Oh, she can't use that? 10 strength? She doesn't have 10 strength? What have I been leveling her up? Well, yeah, I've been leveling up her intelligence, obviously, but yeah, that's kind of a shame. It would be pretty awesome to get her to 10 strength, actually. Let's actually just take a quick look. She only has 6. Yeah, she only has 6. Okay, that is gonna take some time, isn't it? Well, never mind. Let's have a look and see what this guy has. He might not even have the strength required. Nope, he doesn't have the strength required either, and I have been specking both of those guys for crossbow use, so me giving them a cavalry bow is not going to make much sense. I could give him a helm. I guess I will give him a helm, and he doesn't have... Yes, he doesn't have anything. I think he basically has 8 strength. Yeah, he has 8 strength. I could technically give him 9. I could give him 9 right now, because he is eventually going to need these stats eventually, so I guess why not? Let's give him some constitution as well. Let's give him a little bit more in crossbows. Warlock engineer, there we go. Alright, so that is pretty nice. Okay, so we have eliminated 2 Kislev vassals, which I think is pretty good so far. I think that the main thing that we have to think about, considering we are a very small faction at the moment, and the main thing we want to do is just try our best to weaken enemy factions as much as possible. And you know what? I'm actually thinking to myself, before we go... Ah, Lord Valans is actually patrolling around Karakhan. Very nice. Look, there he is. He has 91. Yeah, I actually noticed that he had about 6 in leadership. I think he has like 6 in leadership or something like that. He's running around with 12 Eshin assassins and 4 rat ogres. Wow. Okay. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with in battle, or at least I hope so. Anyway, instead of going to get that ball and chain weapon, which I could very much do off screen, I think that might probably be the best idea anyway, because I don't think you really want to see me go to a marketplace and sell some salt and stuff again, do you? Probably not. Anyway, I think the best thing for us to do right now is to venture into Empire territory and see if we can probably enslave some more people and see if that actually does give us that reputation loss. I think it might just be a percentage chance for that to happen, because I don't seem to, as you can see, I don't seem to lose or gain any relation at all. And I'm not entirely sure why that would be, but I guess the good thing about this is that we are reducing the Empire's power in the area. Ooh, this is a pretty interesting development we have here. This is actually very interesting. They have a lot of prisoners. You can see that. These prisoners are not exactly desirable by me by any means, because they are mostly goblins and orcs. No offense. But yeah, I'm not going to be using those units in our army. I'm probably going to be attempting to enslave them and so on, you know, roleplay-esque kind of thing. Ah, here we go. Okay, so this is actually a pretty good example for us. I'm going to try and reject the offer here, and we'll see whether this has an effect on our reputation. Actually, you know what? I know that it doesn't, so I'm thinking I'm probably just going to reject it, and then we'll see if we get a better price for him next time. But I think the main thing that we must do is let vassals go, because when you let vassals go, you gain honor, or in this case we gain reputation, and because we are an evil race, technically that means that we gain negative relations. So hopefully we'll be able to do that, and I'm saying relation every single time, but it's reputation. You understand what I mean, you know. Anyway, we're going to just reject that for the moment, and we are now going to do some battle with Lord Slayer Skaldor. Yes, we are. And we're going to try and see what we can do about these guys. They have 278. I'm not afraid of these guys. I'm not afraid of them whatsoever. We have a renowned value battle of 21 here. And we are in an utterly... just demonic situation right here. Because just look at this. Look at this environment. It may not look like anything special. It certainly doesn't look like anything special. It just looks like a random hill. But with this many ranged units... yeah, it is going to be an utter bloodbath for the opponent, and we're going to see if they actually do, you know, just come straight up here. If they come straight up here, then the dwarves really need to return to the tactical drawing board, as you say, and you know, get a little bit of a tutorial on that, because if they just charge straight up, no, they are not charging straight up here. That is precisely as you would think, because obviously dwarves, they don't move terribly fast, and yeah, I can assume that they are probably going to be, yeah, they are just going to be standing there. So what we're going to do is going to move our archers ahead here, going to get our infantry to come up as well. Do bear in mind we only have 12 infantry. If one of my archers actually manages to kill an enemy from here, then I think we might be in a... wait a minute, let's just... Ah, they seem to be moving. Oh, okay. So they are actually moving into range for us right here, which I suppose is pretty good? Question mark? I don't know. On the one hand, I would have liked to have gotten onto that hill over there, but this hill is much better, so I don't really mind, I suppose. Otherwise, let's just get all of our units into... Wow, this is just crazy. The amount of units that we have on the battlefield right now is just too much. Look at how many ranged units we have. This is insane. Let's face it, this is super insane. Okay, tell you what. I'm gonna actually do a little bit of army customizing. Basically what I've been doing so far is literally just going with as many ranged units as possible, because generally they tend to be the most effective. But I think for the moment what we're gonna try and do, at least in the next upcoming episodes, is I'm going to try and do a little bit of well, shall we say, employing a couple of changes in regards to... Oh! No, it's... Ah, that is terrible. Did you see that? It's actually crushing through my block. That is amazing. Yeah, so that's a hammerer right there. Very, very impressive indeed. Anyway, as I was saying, I would like to try and incorporate a couple more infantry to our army. And maybe a couple more cavalry as well, because we actually don't have any Skaven cavalry to speak of, so it would make quite a bit of sense for us to try and do that, because we haven't actually used any of those Molder units ever before, with the exception of maybe one time, and I wasn't particularly impressed, because let's face it, I feel like the cavalry of the Skaven, they're not great, you know, they're not great, but they do come with Ignore Pain, so I feel like they could be a pretty decent way of gaining some survivability, or shall we just say a wall, to provide that for our ranged units. And I mean, yeah, I mean, you can already see at the moment it is just hilarious how much damage we are able to inflict with this many ranged units, and I think it might be a bit imbalanced. Not for the fact that the mod is imbalanced, because personally I feel like the mod is actually kind of balanced in a way that is basically making every single faction really, really powerful, and as a result it kind of just evens everything out, if you understand what I mean. Anyway, point is, I feel like with this many ranged units, especially considering Skaven ranged units are great, I mean, I don't exactly know, I mean, would it be this way if we were using the Shadow Lords from the Wood Elves faction? I think it probably would be relatively similar, but bear in mind that they are of course using bows, and these guys are using guns, and using guns does tend to have the added side benefit of being able to penetrate shields, and that maybe is contributing to how effective these guys actually are. And of course, not entirely sure, but I think you can dodge ranged weapons, but the dodge chance is significantly reduced on weapons like guns, because they are firing at such a massive velocity, you know, the projectiles are moving so quickly that it's very, very difficult for anyone to dodge that. And you can see exactly the reason why these ranged units are so incredibly powerful, because I'm able, if I had no infantry, just think of this, if I had no infantry and I just summoned those clan rats and Vermintide, you know, through Vermintide's spell, and also use the Curse of the Horned Rat, I would basically be using infantry and any other random units for free. So I'd basically just be using mana to have effectively a meat shield of some kind, and all of my ranged units would be completely safe for the majority of the time when these infantry were alive. And I think that that is a pretty amazing thing. I mean, the synergy involved in that is really, really quite impressive, and yeah, and that's exactly the reason why I think it might be an idea for us to incorporate some more infantry. Anyway, there we go. All right, let's see if I can actually get here before they charge at us. But obviously they are dwarves, so they generally do not have cavalry, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, and it seems like the game has kind of settled down a little bit here. Maybe it's because there's not so much magic being cast, so I'm not actually getting any additional stuttering, which is kind of nice. Anyway, let's see how we do here. I'm not going to put my people in ranks this time, because I want to see how much or how much less effective they will be as a result of that. I mean, you see what happens when they go into ranks. They go kind of like a little bit closer to each other, and they kind of change position a little bit, and then I do have to click on the stand closer order just to get them into better positions. And it seems like to me doing this is much easier and a little bit more effective, because you can see here that they're standing in positions that does allow them to kind of shoot through the small gaps in the line, and that does make quite a bit of difference to their effectiveness. So it seems like just leaving them randomly is not the way to go. Obviously, I mean, you know, any additional effort that you make to give orders to your units is usually going to be good, unless you're like me and you tend to forget to do things sometimes, like, oh, you have 84 Swadian knights standing off over to the side there, and you've put them out of your out of your sight, and you wonder why you're losing while they're just holding position. Yeah, I've done that. I've done that before. Don't worry about that. If you're wondering about when that's going to happen. It will probably happen pretty soon. If I do tend to get a couple more cavalry or something like that, I'll put them off to the side and I'll think to myself, why aren't my warplock engineers killing everything? And yeah, the reason for that is, of course, because well, I don't have that many anymore, probably. Anyway, let's see if I can maybe, well, it's actually not even necessary. It's not even necessary. These guys can literally just kill this one, and I think we're done. Yep, that is it. Literally 0 casualties. I did not even have to cast a spell. That's pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy. There you go, 2 renown. It's not too bad, and we are now going to hopefully, cross fingers, get an opportunity. No opportunity whatsoever. Wow. I'm really, really surprised and pretty disappointed, actually, about that. I was hopeful that I would be able to potentially release an enemy vassal there, because I wanted to test out whether that would give us that reduction in reputation, but it seems like that will have to wait for another time while we take a huge amount of rescued prisoners here. Now, these rescued prisoners, they are going to go straight into our garrison, of course. We did get some trolls as well, which are very, very cool. And I gotta say that I feel like the vampire units are really, really fun. They do seem pretty fun to me. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a good time as any once I put these in the garrison, and hopefully that will prevent many enemies from coming in and trying to besiege us. And wow, dwarven armor is actually pretty good to sell. As you can see, it sells for decent amount, not too much, of course, but not too bad. Anyway, I think that will be it for this episode. If you'd like to see me do something specific in this series, then by all means let me know, because I do have a number of ideas on what we're going to be doing next, but, you know, I'm always happy to hear from the community and see what's actually going on here, because obviously Lucchini has not been besieged at all. I'm really surprised about that. Maybe there's some kind of weird status quo going on there, but hopefully with Lord Valans, maybe there will be something that can actually be done. In other words, it seems like Lord Measles was not really doing much. Bit weird. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.